Hi folks, are you aware what goes on in your garden at night or even whilst you're out at work? In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this. This is the GardePro E8 2.0 Pro Trail camera, and I've kindly been sent also the optional solar panel to go with this unit. In this video I'm going to be unboxing the camera, and then we're going to be setting it up in the garden, and lastly and more importantly we're going to be seeing what kind of wildlife we can capture with it. Before we get started, I do want to mention the fact that GardePro did send me this camera for review. I haven't been paid for the review, however I can keep this camera after I have made this video. Basically they haven't sent me any information or a script to sway my thoughts, and as ever with this channel you will get my honest opinion of the products. There will be links to the product in the description below, and even a discount code if you would like to save some money on your own GardePro camera once you've seen this review. Now in recent years these types of trail cameras have become incredibly popular with wildlife enthusiasts and with photographers. However, they're also great for home security. The question is, can this model produce really good footage, have a great detection rate and a decent battery life without costing an absolute fortune? If you're thinking about buying a trail camera, stick around and I'll share with you some of the footage I managed to capture over the last few days. But first we'll unbox the camera and I'll show you what to expect when you purchase your own GardePro. So let's take a look at what's inside the GardePro E8 2.8 Pro. First of all, we've got a leaflet for the lithium-ion battery. We've got another brochure instruction manual on the camera itself. We've got our USB Type-C charging lead. We've got the camera, which we'll take a look at shortly. And then you've got the strap, which you're going to use to secure the camera to a fence or a tree, whatever you're going to fasten the camera to. So looking at the E8 2.0 Pro, it has this fantastic finish, which is kind of a green grey, which should provide plenty of camouflage and help blend it into trees, bushes and fences, so it shouldn't be noticeable by the wildlife. At the front you'll also notice here, which are the PIR sensors, which detect motion and trigger the camera to either take a photograph or start a video. And we also have these, which are the infrared sensors, which work at night. Now they have no glow, so they are invisible to wildlife. There's nothing there to scare any of the wildlife off, so it should be able to capture some great close-up footage. So if we open up the camera, inside you have a color screen. Obviously at the moment the camera needs to be charged up before we can use it. We have a menu system which is very straightforward, I understand, to use, which is you've got the 4-way pad there. Very simple. One of the benefits of this camera, it is very user friendly. So one of the best things about the E 2.0 Pro is the fact that it has this fantastic lithium-ion battery. Only the Pro versions do have this rechargeable battery. The rest are relying on AA batteries. Now it's a big advantage if you plan to use it regularly in the garden or in nature, because constantly changing the batteries can become pretty expensive as well as inconvenient. Better still, GardePro sent me this, the optional solar panel. So we'll open that and I'll explain what the SP350 can offer you. So obviously unboxing, it's got guidelines for the solar panel. Now the solar panel itself comes with an absolute mountain of wiring here, great big long length of wire, which means you can position this solar panel a good distance away from the camera itself. It also comes with mounting hardware and the cables to attach it to the back of the camera. This really gives the camera lots of options for long-term wildlife monitoring. So let's talk about some of the specifications of the GardePro E8 2.0 Pro. Well, first, the camera can record in 4K Ultra HD and can capture images up to 64 megapixels. I suspect at that resolution, however, they are interpolated. It also boasts these two Wi-Fi antennas, which apparently can give it a range of 165 feet. The sensors on the front give the camera a trigger speed of 0.1 of a second, so you shouldn't miss any of the wildlife as it comes into view of the camera. It's going to wake the camera up and start shooting pretty much immediately. At the top of the camera here, you've got these no-glow 940 nanometer infrared LEDs, and that's how the camera can see at night. As you'd expect with an outdoor camera, it does have IP66 weather sealing, so it can be out in all weathers, capturing all that wildlife footage. In addition, it has a detection rate of up to 100 feet, so it should be able to capture most motion within a good distance of the camera. Another thing which I mentioned earlier were these Wi-Fi antennas. Now that enables you to use an app on your smartphone, and you can connect directly to the camera and see the footage rather than having to go and take the SD card out of the camera. Now this isn't a cloud connected security camera. Instead, the app uses Bluetooth to wake the camera up and then connects to the camera's own Wi-Fi hotspot and sends those images to your phone. That means you still have to be fairly close to the camera to pick up the signal. However, it does mean that the camera is not trying to run the Wi-Fi all of the time and thus depleting the battery. The menu settings are fairly straightforward, with settings for mode, photo or video, photo quality, photo burst, video quality, video length, video sound. So this is something that this particular trail camera is quite noted for. They actually have provided the camera with pretty decent microphones. You've got video format there, so you've got the choice of full HD 1080p, 2K 1440p or 4K 2160p. As well as that, you've got detection delay, so you can delay the recording for up to 10 seconds. I've set mine to 0 seconds as I want to start it immediately as some animal appears in the path of the camera. PIR sensitivity, that's for the sensors. So again, you don't want it too low as it won't detect the movement of the animals, but also you don't want it too high as things like leaves blowing around in the wind could set off the camera. Again, false trigger suppression there, you can set that. Side motion sensors, so you can set those to trigger and start recording as soon as an animal walks into the path of the camera. You've got time lapse there, so you can set a time lapse if that was what you wanted to do. You can also set date and time, so that's handy if you are setting this up as a wildlife monitor rather than somebody like myself who's just after some creative images. Even sets the temperature of the unit so that you can see what temperature is perhaps the ideal spot for when animals come out. You can name the camera there. You put an info strip on the bottom of the camera, and that all that information will be on the recording if you want that or not. Loop recording, so you can use it to just constantly keep looping and recording over the previous footage. You can set the hours it operates from. You can set a password, which is handy as that would stop anybody else from taking the footage. Language, we'll leave that as English. Power source. We can format the SD card. Now the SD card that did come with the camera did require formatting beforehand. Again, you've got a factory reset, which is handy, nice and easy to find as well. So should you change the settings and decide that it isn't to your liking, you can easily hit that factory reset and you're back to where you were before. So yeah, really easy to navigate through these menus. So another thing to talk about is how impressive the app is. Now I've downloaded the app onto my phone, as you can see here. We're just going to connect to the camera. Now the camera connects via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi to the camera's own Wi-Fi. So I'll just show you there. It's connected. We just press start. And on the bottom we've got a selection. You can use gallery to look through photos that you've already taken. You can change the settings in the app, and also you can go to live view. So you can see there we're looking directly at what the camera's seeing. You can't see anything on the screen, that's gone blank. However, you can see the brass monkeys there that we've got, and we can see those exactly as they're being recorded by the camera. So we've got the app open and we're going to try and trigger the camera. We'll go to live view, and there you go. You can see we've got the monkeys here and we've got my phone in the shot as well. We'll see what the camera is seeing, and hopefully if I wave my hand and trigger, it should hopefully give us some video. I can also use the icon here on the app. If I use the center shutter button, I'll just take a still image, and then if I hit record, that's now going to be recording video on the app. So it means if you've got the app out and you don't think the camera's started recording, you can manually record any footage. So if you're looking out of a window, for example, and there's something in the garden and you're really not sure that the camera has picked it up, you can always instruct it with the physical buttons to start recording. So if we come back to the app now, I've just gone into gallery here, which is where you can retrieve any photos or videos you've taken. And if we have a look and play this, that's now going to be recording video on the app. So it means if you've got the app out and you don't think the camera's started recording, you can manually record. So there you go, that's another benefit with the app. Also, if I'll just show you here, we've got this share button, and you can, if we can get it to focus, yep, that share button there will let you send footage directly from the app to applications like WhatsApp or Messenger, and you can share your footage with other people. So now that we've pretty much familiarized ourselves with the GardePro and how it's going to work, about time we went outside, got it set up, and captured some footage. Now on the back of the camera, you can see here we've got these little blocks, and they space the camera off whatever you're going to be using to mount the camera on, should it be a fence post or a tree. So they've got nice grips on the back, so they should get a good purchase. There's also slots here, which is to feed through the cable, like so. So the webbing will fit through like that. You also have these optional holes at the top. Now they are for the metal wires that you see, that a lot of things that are secured long term outside, which you can lock. And I think if I was going to be setting this up out in the wilderness somewhere, especially somewhere where people still manage to get to, then it might be worth investing in one of those so you can secure it and know that nobody's going to run off with your camera. There is one thing which surprises me that doesn't appear to be on the GardePro, is there's no way to actually lock the door. Now I'm sure they could engineer something for a future model which could have some kind of locking mechanism there. You could put a padlock through to stop anybody from opening it up and getting inside and running off with your SD card. So folks, 4 days later, and we set the camera up in the garden. I set it to take 3 images and 30 seconds of video. So over the 4 days, the camera managed to amass a huge amount of video clips and photographs. 587 video clips, because we're written down over here, and a staggering 1,482 images. Now don't worry, I'm not going to show you them all. The first couple of days it was quite windy, and I did have the settings on the camera fairly strong on the detection rate, so we did get a lot of false calls, if you like, where the camera triggered and there wasn't actually anything there in the shot. It was just basically the grass and the trees in the background blowing around. So as they say in TV, let's roll VT, and we'll have a look at some of the things we managed to capture. So then, to sum up the GardePro E8 2.0 Pro, I found it an incredibly intuitive camera to use. The menu system and even the app was very straightforward to set up. I don't think I even looked at the instruction booklet once and still managed to get away with it. The star of the show for me, however, has to be the battery in this thing. It lasts an absolute age. I only charged it up to about 75–80%, something like that. Stuck it outdoors for 4 days without the solar panel. Now, had I put that on, it probably wouldn't have used any of the battery whatsoever because it's been quite warm and sunny. And it lasted for the 4 days and it's still got about 45% on the battery. It's pretty much an epic battery, and I think that's a massive boon for this camera, that it's not stuffed with AA batteries. I mean, I think a lot of them take about 6 or 8 AA batteries and you have to change them after a few days. This thing will run forever. And then with the addition of that solar panel, you know, it's a fantastic companion for this camera, and you can leave it outdoors for months on end without having to go and check on the camera. I think you'll probably be a full memory card is possibly going to be the reason you'll have to go out to it. Now, onto the footage, the video and still images this camera captures. Well, it's never going to rival BBC Springwatch now, is it? But as a trail camera, it is very acceptable indeed, and the standard that it takes at is probably better than a lot of trail cameras out there. Now, I found the night vision particularly good. Thought that was excellent footage I managed to capture there. I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get any hedgehogs. I did put plenty of hedgehog food out. However, all the local cats decided to come and have a go at that before the poor old hedgehogs had a chance at some Hollywood stardom. I did think it struggled with small birds, you know, wrens, sparrows, you know, blue tits, grey tits, things like that. You can see them on the footage, but because of their small size and the fact that this camera has to be, I think it's 1.5 meters away from your subject in order to be in focus, then yeah, it did struggle with very small birds. But you know, if you've got jackdaws or crows, blackbirds, magpies, pigeons, then it can pick those up no bother at all. So for the price point, I think the GardePro is a fantastic bit of kit. The mics on this thing are exceptional. I could hear my son up in his 3rd floor room with the window open, and I could hear it on some of the footage, and you could hear raindrops. You could certainly hear all the bird calls, particularly those noisy magpies. Picked up those clear as. It was really, really impressive. The night sensors I thought worked really well. That footage I thought was really nice and crisp, looked really good, and we managed to capture some great footage of all the local cats. As I say, I'd have loved it if we'd got something different on the night footage. Hopefully we will sometime soon. But in order to get this review out in time, we can't leave the camera out for the next 6 months. I have to say, I can happily recommend this camera. I've been impressed by the build quality, by the ease of use. It's been out in the rain, hasn't had any issues whatsoever. It's recorded. The battery life is absolutely fantastic. I think it's really worth you considering one if you've been looking for a trail camera. Take a look at the GardePro. So I often get items sent for review. Often some of the items are either given away or they'll linger in the drawer for some time. That's not going to be happening with this unit. Hands down, definitely will be keeping this and using it. I think it's a fantastic bit of kit. It'll be going out in the back garden again, recording some footage. I might even take it out in the local woodland if I can get myself something to secure it and make sure it doesn't go missing, because I'd be quite devastated if this actually got lifted by some unscrupulous types. Yeah, that's how much I think of this camera. I think it has been a really great product to review. I'm not often this glowing about products, but yeah, it certainly won me over, and I'm looking forward to getting it out in the autumn and winter as we get some different bird species arriving in the garden and being able to capture some footage of those around about that time. So maybe in the future there will be like a long-term test type video, and yeah, I'll be posting more about the GardePro and let you know about it, how we get on. So as I say, if that's not enough of a product recommendation, then I don't know what is. As I say, I've not been paid to say this about this product. I just think it has been pretty good. I'm very happy with it, and delighted to have received one free of charge. If you'd like your own GardePro, there is that link down in the description, and a discount code as well if you'd like to save some money on that. If you found this video useful, then please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. I can't tell you how much a comment or sharing it or just giving it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video really helps my tiny corner of YouTube out. Don't forget, of course, to tune in, and I'll see you in another one. Bye for now.